Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? Evan Jivanakis here. Today, what I talk about, as you can see, the title here is that yesterday's adaptations are today's routines. So, if your company or your team has gone remote, right, to work from home, as most of companies do nowadays, you realize by now that managing a distributed team can be challenging, right? People are working from home. So managing a virtual team, managing a distributed team can be challenging. You know, the loss of a shared office, at least for now, the loss of a shared office space means that the potential for losing a sense of community, and cohesion among your staff. So therefore, if you are a leader and team member or a manager or an entrepreneur who struggled with communication before, I'm sure you now find yourself lost and even more challenged to complete what before was a simple task, where you could quickly meet your team with a 20-minute in-person meeting. So right now, we are becoming more isolated from our colleagues than even before. So, before a spontaneous meeting in the office, in your cafeteria or something, would inspire new ideas, plans, and partnership. But now your access to those informal moments is restricted. Therefore, teams cannot organically connect. And leading a company and leading a team in a post-pandemic world, what would that mean? It would mean that shifting not only your management methods, but also your mindset about what it means to be a collective business team. So I want to share with you some of my ideas, some of my suggestions on how to rethink, reboot, readapt your approach as a leader in a post-COVID-19 era. The first thing I think that all leaders should do is, I think we should sharpen our emotional intelligence. Before the pandemic, right, many leaders talked about the benefits of emotional intelligence in managing a team. But now, as employees, as your staff face the daily challenges of living, working, and raising families all in the same space, emotional intelligence have become an absolute necessity for today's leaders. So the first thing that you should do as a leader or as a manager or as an entrepreneur is to sharpen your emotional intelligence. Therefore, as a business leader, you need to recognize those struggles and try to exercise empathy and flexibility. For instance, if an employee's child needs help with homework, or or the dog needs to go outside, employers, you need to think that it's okay with employees tending to personal matters during traditional work hours. What options do you have, huh? So right now, employees are working hard to keep their jobs during a time where layoffs are happening. So leadership, I think what we are going is that leadership will begin to realize that we don't need to micromanage. That's number one. And number two, schedule flexibility can result probably in more quality work. Therefore, what we can also do as leaders, we can also exercise emotional intelligence by being vulnerable and sharing our own struggles and journey during the pandemic. Therefore, there is an added layer of challenges when it comes to remote communication, and we have to show that we trust our team members. So the first thing that I think we should do as leaders is to sharpen our emotional intelligence, to understand how other people are feeling, to understand our own feelings, understand how other people are feeling, and therefore use that data to guide people. And the second thing that I think what we should do is to enable communication and trust. So we live in, right now, we live in a time where teams are removed from one another and they interact less. Therefore, good leaders need to prioritize and model strong communication. Therefore, we must communicate more than ever with our teams using online, social media, WhatsApp groups, Google Meets, and so on. And as I said before, there is an added layer of challenges when it comes to remote communication, and we have to instill trust with our team. You know, we have to keep an open line of communication. Our colleagues also may be able to share experiences we can learn from, since this way of communication is new to everyone. Therefore, for us as leaders, it is important to listen and improve. Because this remote work has flattened the flow of communication, it's true, and probably made some managers less of gatekeepers and more of communication enablers. You know, therefore, we need to take time for personal outreach, one-on-ones, and frequent, hand sessions. Therefore, I think we should engage direct reports to have lots of skip-level discussions. So communication, think like your people. Your people are working from home. If the schools are closed, they maybe have to attend to their kids as well. It can be very challenging, and it is more tiring to actually work from home than to work. It is more tiring to work from home than work from the office. Therefore, we need to keep the line of communication open with our staff. The third thing that we can do is we can get our people involved in company decisions. Your employees, your staff, the people under you, they want to feel like they have a voice in major company decisions, including what their future work arrangements might look like. You may discover as well that maybe that the majority of employees were excited to come back to work, right? So maybe you can create a flexible schedule and a system for scheduling who is in the office and who is not, to make sure you are adhering with social distancing. Because some people, they prefer to work from the office. I prefer to work from my office. Therefore, try to get people involved in that company decisions and, alternative work from the office. The other thing that you can do is to make sure that your team understands your why. And remote employees have to learn to be disciplined and self-motivated to succeed. Remote employees individually, they have to learn to be disciplined and self-motivated to succeed. And at the same time, they should still hear from the managers about the company's bigger goals and vision and why they are doing the work they do. So therefore, as a manager, as a leader, you need to make sure that you and your team are clear on what the priorities are for them, and that each of them know why they do is critical to the team, the department, and the company. So that why statement in your communication as a leader, why we do what we do, what is the future, what is the vision, where are we going, helps people see that individually they are critical, their work is very important individually, and therefore they will help to develop the team. So explain the why. The other thing that you can do is to listen. Employees should be able to turn to the leaders for support during these challenging times. So listen to your employees, listen to your staff concerns, and take them seriously if they value their teams. So practicing empathy, it is important for the future of work, especially if your people are working remotely. So basically, to manage and develop your team when your people are working remotely, you need a balance. You don't babysit your people, but you are there for them. And you need to explain them that they need to be self-disciplined, disciplined, and self-motivated. Nobody is going to call your employees, and nobody is calling you to tell you, hey, wake up, be motivated. You know, right now, the only certainty is uncertainty. So with the future uncertain, leaders now, we need to ensure that we practice compassion with employees, despite their internal fears, share vision, but at the same time, we need to tell them that you need to be self-disciplined and self-motivated to succeed. And at the same time, keep an eye for the future. Because remote work probably is here to stay. At least, I don't know for how long. Maybe, maybe the people that worked before 5 days in the office, now they're going to work 3 days in the office and 2 days from home when we go back to normal. But there is still chance and uncertainty ahead as everyone navigates the post-pandemic world together. Therefore, successful and adaptive leaders should be ready to adapt to those future uncertainties. Therefore, successful leaders were expected to be aware of the new changes and stay on top of what is happening. Therefore, flexibility and being ready to make these changes is huge. Therefore, as a successful leader, it is your responsibility to keep a balance of how you manage your people, how you monitor your people, how you empower your people. And it is very challenging. It is very challenging for you. It is very challenging for your people. So I hope my video today helped you to understand that adaptability is very important, because I consider the title, Yesterday's Adaptations Are Today's Routines. We need to adapt today. We need to be flexible today. We need to manage our people virtually today. So what we were kind of flexible doing 6 months ago, we are forced to implement today. We are forced to learn to do today. Yesterday's adaptations are today's routines. Have a fantastic day ahead. I'll see you soon. Stay tuned.